Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Mandy. I can see your
Evening.
comment on there. Welcome to another chat with the trustees. Tonight you have four of us. You have myself, Michael, Nicola and Helen, as you can see. And we just thought we would come on and have a chat and check in and see that everybody's okay and how you're all doing. And we also thought we might chat about support and the type of support we can give and you maybe could give to others. So I'll hand you over to Nick and Helen for a while.
Okay.
As it was your topic.
Both looking, what the hell?
No, don't hand over to me.
Not us.
What?
We did. We got chatting,
Run,
didn't we? Because
Yeah, we did.
we got chatting because we've had a number of parents contact us about support and how they can best support the children and family members that are within the LGBTQ community. And we are ourselves all either family members or parents of or siblings of somebody within the community as well as being in the community ourselves. So we just thought it'd be a nice idea if we just come on, had a chat, maybe, answer questions if anybody had got anything they wanted to ask. Maybe if anybody's got a question they wanted to ask, but they didn't quite dare ask the person themselves, they could ask us.
Yeah.
That's
a
okay
really good
too.
idea. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. And it is interesting what you're saying there, Nick, about us supporting people. I mean, we've both got children who are in our community, and we are in the community as well. So it's because when Ben first came out as trans to me, my first response inside was, oh no, not because he was trans, but because I know what's out there.
Yeah. It is a bit of a scary world, isn't it? And when it's your child, it's like, but this is my child. The person that you've loved and protected and will continue to until the day you die. And suddenly you can see what a scary world it is out there.
Yeah.
And it's not that you don't want to support them. It's just that you know how scary it is.
Yeah. And I got the instinct to wrap him up in bubble wrap even more than I was doing anyway.
I just want everything to go smoothly and things to happen and things to be perfect for them because I think that's a mother's instinct. Sarah Cottonfield's placing a tea order with us.
Yeah. Well, I can put the Acti Fry on if you want, darling. It's not a problem. Just let me know where you are and I'll drop you them off.
Yeah. Can I have Coke with it though, please? A Diet Coke though. For me.
Yes. But and the wrong chat box, obviously.
Yeah, wrong chat box. I was reading the chats.
The other thing, I've lost my train of thought now. Michael's said that.
Did you have a train of thought?
I did, yes. I was going to.
I went years ago.
That didn't happen. No, it'll come back to me. Don't worry. It's my age.
Okay, then let's kick this off with a question.
Go on then.
What is a parent?
That's what I was going to talk about, actually. Yes. Go on then. What is a parent?
Go on then. You can answer that one then, Michael.
Okay then.
Go on.
I have a mug.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
And I have a matching mug.
To me, matching mug useful. Hold matching mug up. Facing that way. So handle that way.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that is a family.
Yeah.
Now, this thing is a child.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing there is a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Not the other way around, because that thing there
supports that
thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
A parent should support their child, come what may.
Yeah.
I also think as well, though, I mean, I've brought my two up as a single parent, but I don't class myself as a single parent because I have my mum and dad, I've got both my sisters. So actually, my two had 5 of us bringing them up.
Yeah.
You know, and probably they had much more of a support network than some other children did.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. That example also relates to that on its own.
Yeah, I think that example you've just used there, Michael, is good, but it's just also worth bearing in mind that sometimes it can be the other way around. That a child can sometimes be supporting the parents.
Yeah,
I think it's
definitely.
important
And it does
to
happen.
get that.
Yeah,
And
exactly,
Mandy's
Mandy.
right. It's someone who's there for the children no matter what.
Yeah.
But when we put one of the bids in for funding that we're waiting for, we talked about re-establishing the support group that we did.
Yeah.
And it occurred to us while we were writing the bid that we were calling it family support.
But what is family?
And then we thought, actually, a large number of people in our community don't have their family behind them. No. So we were racking our brains trying to think what we could phrase it as, and we came up with a support network group.
Yeah, because actually that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be family. Then again, it might not. I mean, it goes back to the Armistead Morgan thing, doesn't it? About you can have two families. You can have your biological and your logical family, and that's what it is. You know, I mean, you just do, and you don't have to be a couple. You don't, Pam. You're right. You don't have to be a parent.
It took me a long time to accept that, though. As a parent, I did put myself through a lot because I thought my two deserved to have a mum and a dad, and actually, no, they deserve to have me happy to be an effective parent.
That's the point. I did a module when I did my I've got a BA in psychology, and we had this huge debate in one of our seminar groups because we were doing about family support and what is a nuclear family, and it's mum and dad and 2.4 children or 2.5 children or whatever it is.
2.4.
And there were a few of us sat in a corner and went, no, that doesn't work for me, because that implies that no matter what, those two parents should be together for the children. And research now shows, I mean, I did my degree in the late 80s, but research now shows that one or two separate happy parents is better than a toxic, aggressive environment.
And we all know families that are toxic and absolutely no good for the kids.
No.
Or the parents in it, to be fair.
No, that's the thing. And then everybody just ends up miserable.
Yeah, they do.
So, two stable households can be better for a child, or even one stable parent is better for a child than.
But so then, just going back to what you called it as the support network, actually, as parents of as well, we need that support network as well as the children. So,
that's the way we were framing it, that it's the person's support network group rather than a support network for the
I quite like that one.
Because
I think it's important to recognise that families quite often have lots of questions themselves. You know, that are looking for the information and don't know where to turn for it. I mean, there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet, and that's the first people turn to. You hear things like, "Oh, Dr. Google says," or "Dr. Google says I should have been dead 3 years ago, but I'm still here."
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? At the minute, the environment in the media and a lot of stuff on social media is reverting back to some quite dark times for our community.
Yes.
And if a parent of a person who's just come out as whatever does the keyboard search, they could be traumatized for life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
And then
themselves, I think it's a basic need of any parent to want the best for their children.
yeah.
And I think by doing that internet searching, they're seeing all of these horror stories. So, half the time it frightens people to death.
Yeah.
It does. And do you think sometimes some even well-intentioned parents get frightened and think, I've got to gather my child in here and protect them and hide them from the world and stop this from happening, because if this happens to them, then that's going to follow.
Yeah.
And that, but again, that's not always the best way, is it?
No, it's not.
How do we signpost then people to the right support, the right information?
Yeah. And I think the unique thing about our group, our charity, is it's run by members of the community.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Mind, and they said their funding's been diverted from the LGBT group.
Yeah.
It's run by Mind. It's not specifically run by LGBT people.
Yeah.
So we can give anecdotal information as well as signposting to.
Well, it's that thing into the lived experience.
Yeah.
And actually, lived experience, so important, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I've been out now 24 years, and I've never hidden who I am. And I think I've had two really horrible experiences. And it's just one of those things. The issue isn't my issue. It was the people who did what they did. It was their problem, not mine, and I wish them well.
You see, for me,
or even downwards.
I can empathize with that, Tony, because I've had experienced negative things in my my journey so far. Fortunately, it's only an handful of times. But then, you've got to look at it as, well, that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop me from being me.
No, and I think I saw something, or I've forgotten which group I was looking at. Again, I think it was Twitter, because I tend to find more useful stuff on Twitter than Facebook.
You also find more vile people on Twitter as well.
You do, actually, but it was about, in the face of any phobic behaviour, the response should be to educate. Which is a hard thing to do sometimes, but it
should only educate where people want to learn.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Did my face register what I thought about that comment? But you can only educate so far, because you cannot educate parents. Once you have done it half a dozen times and slapped a coat on, the next thing you need to do is just slap.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not advocating violence, though.
No, we don't advocate violence, but I do think that.
But education can only take you so far.
Yeah, and I think so. Sometimes when it gets low, when you're just not getting it, I think sometimes for your own self-protection, sometimes you've just got to walk away.
You do.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and it is. I think the thing is to take the higher ground.
Yeah.
And like I said, keep in your mind, but it's their problem, not mine.
Whereas I'm quite lucky. I think I've had relationships, I've had kids. I'm not interested anymore. I do class myself as asexual, but I don't have to come out all the time, because actually people look at me and see a woman of a certain age and they either assume that I'm married or that I'm a spinster.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to have that conversation all the time. I do sometimes get that, you might find somebody you like, but I just say, no, you're all right.
Nah, it's fine.
Too busy for that.
Yeah, I'll be as happy with the sun in the world.
But so I can't, for me, obviously I'm a lot later on in journey than you guys, but I think I might be able to slip under the radar a little bit better. Because I have had children as well.
Mm-hmm. Ruins my figure.
Parent of a gay daughter. I can imagine that was tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I know when Ben first brought somebody down here, it was a bit strange.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that wasn't anything about the gender of the person.
No, it wasn't.
Absolutely nothing to do with it. It's that thing it's that very illogical thing that all parents have.
Yeah, you don't want your children to grow
up. And it's
up.
totally illogical.
Yeah, I remember Beth met her current partner. She worked with her, but it really became apparent to us at a Pride after party, to be fair. It was very obvious as the night wore on that they were more than friends.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite amusing, but it's also quite amusing that within our group, I think Beth was quite protected.
Yeah.
And some other members of our group were also feeling very protective of her that night. So they could see this relationship blossoming. But were like, but that's our little Beth, because she's only little, isn't she? Bless her.
Yeah.
I know she's driving home from a day out today, so she's not going to be listening to me. But yeah, so even as on catch up, yeah, she'll slap me later.
Yeah.
Even as the wider support network, there is that protection there of people that you care about, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. There is.
And I have to confess that we've got people in our groups that I really care about everybody, but I think if I thought somebody was hurting somebody or somebody wasn't being treated very fairly, I would probably come out fighting.
Yeah,
because that's my group.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of a few actually that I would be a bit. Don't talk to them like that.
Yeah, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
What do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just how we are, isn't it? It's just once you're in, and that's it.
I think going
that's
back
the
to
thing. The Rainbow Project itself has become like a family in itself.
Yeah. Going back to Pam's comment, though, I know when Beth first met Sarah, I was more rather amused that she hadn't actually come out right and said it. And it was Mum's FBI instincts that were like, yes, okay, maybe you need to tell her to wash her sheets in something other than Bold or Daz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she suffers with eczema, and her eczema had flared up, and I'm like, yeah, need different washing powder, and then it's
yeah. Well, like you said, it is what it is, and
it is. Right, I should just be back in a second. I'm just going to get a drink.
Okay. As long as they're happy and settled, it's fine. I'm happy with whatever.
I think that's the main thing for like any parent who wants is just want the best for their child and wants them to be happy. Settle things. That's all anybody really wants.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the big starting points for me, and it applies to almost everything in life, is how we are equipped for things. And one of which is we have two of these things and one of these things.
Yeah.
And use them in that proportion.
Yeah. Listen first, speak less. Yeah, I think it definitely is. It's listen more and speak less.
Yeah.
Shush,
Shush now, she's back.
She's back. Yeah.
No, carry on talking about me. I'd like to know.
If anybody's got any questions or comments or anything, just drop them in and
Yeah,
we'll
please
pick them up
do.
as we go along. But I feel a lot more settled now. I know we've got a permanent base,
Yes.
and I feel like we can actually move forward now with things rather than trying to fit into a crowded cafe somewhere. And
Yeah, I think it'll still be nice to do those sorts of things because it's a good stepping stone for people.
Well, we said, didn't we, would go out in the community and do one in a coffee shop somewhere.
And on that one, I believe one of our fellow, what's the word I'm looking for? Tenants.
Yeah.
Is also on the feed.
Yes. Hello, Ricky.
Hello, Ricky. So.
Yeah, Ricky.
So what's Ricky going to be doing?
Ricky does
defense against the dark arts.
Yeah, he sells. Come on, Ricky, put a comment in. Tell us what you do. He sells all things spiritual, tarot cards.
Right.
He makes wands and boards and all sorts of things.
Well, when you said defense against the dark arts, then I got one woman in my head. Then I think we didn't talk about one woman.
We don't talk about one woman.
Yeah, we don't want her in Wathall.
No.
Maybe locked in the basement.
I don't know. I think even that's too good. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, maybe. But no, I do think it's resonating in my head now. We talked about maybe doing something about language.
Yeah.
I think how you respond to a child or somebody in your support group that's come out is very important, and the language you use is very important as well, because you never get a second chance to say it all again. You also do healing mediumship. You do, Ricky? Yes.
Well, let's be fair about language. Language comes into two things, doesn't it? One of which what you say, and the other one is the tone you say it in.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We are, Ricky. Yes, we're the Rainbow Project's taking 2 rooms in Wathall to set up so we can do all of our support groups and things from there. Really looking forward to it.
Really be nice to have a base again. Really good.
Yeah.
Also looking forward to sofas and filing cabinets moving out of my dining room.
Yeah.
Which would be nice. Although I have sort of got used to having a sofa in there, so Yeah. You might have to get another one then. I might do. Yeah, I might have to. Just put something in.
So getting back to language then.
Go on, then.
Yeah. So what do you think is important to do if somebody's coming out here? What do you think is important to do?
I think it's important to just say, okay. Okay. That's fine.
I think it's also as well important not to remember to not beat yourself up about the things that you didn't say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know when my youngest came out, there were things I forgot to ask. And it's only when my oldest daughter asked, I thought, oh, I didn't ask that. And I didn't ask that. And then I thought, oh, God, I'm a bad mum. And it wasn't. It was just that I was processing it.
Yeah.
And I know we had conversations at the time, didn't we?
We did. And even though we are in the community and you were better equipped than us really to deal with it, it's still, I don't know. I still think
still a learning curve, though, isn't it? As well,
it wasn't a shock, and it was. I was so proud of him, and
I wouldn't say what could have been a shock. Come on.
I know that's what I'm saying. It wasn't a shock, but I still was like, right, I've got to deal with this. And then there was the whole thing about, well, Ben had a girlfriend, and right, so what does this mean for her? And can she cope with it? And
yeah,
you know,
And the answer was no.
and the answer was no. Once the surgery was done, it was like, oh no.
And that was always.
and not everybody can they?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, for somebody who'd identified all of our life as one way to suddenly have a girlfriend transition, it's a lot of process. And yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? We've got two perspectives to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And as much as a parent, what you can actually do is sit back and think, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Because essentially, it's not our decision, nothing to do with us.
No,
they have to sort it out in the room.
It's their journey.
And then you just support from there.
Yeah.
Make your mind up. Let us know. Let's move on.
And
what do you want for dinner?
Yeah. That was
the first time she came out. It was, your tea's ready.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking to the people that are in here, the parents that might be listening to this and wanting to know how best to support their child or their loved one when they come out. What advice?
Mine would be to listen to what they're telling you.
Yeah.
Because from listening, then you'll be able to, and listening properly, then yes, there will be questions that come from that, but actually the questions that come from you listening might be different to the questions you think you were going to ask in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, the questions you might want to ask might bear no relevance. We could sit here and say, right, you're going to want to ask this, this, and this. But actually, when they start talking to you and you listen carefully, they might be not even worth asking. They might have answered them, but X, Y, and Z might come up.
Listening's a key skill.
Yes,
most
definitely.
of us are absolutely crap at it.
Yeah, it is. It's that learning to listen.
Doctor, I have to go with, if it's anything important, I have to go in with it because he hears nothing of what they said.
Yeah, Claire's put on about ask what I can do for you. Yeah.
Or what do you need?
What do you need? Yeah.
What do you need? And I think the most important thing you can say, and I think it's something everybody needs, is I'm here for you.
Yes. I love you no matter what.
I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. I always
think it's a couple of things really. I think it's listening is absolutely vital to it all, but it's also having that open and honest conversations as well, and not shying away from questions.
Yeah.
Or not shutting down a conversation because it's a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
because let's be fair, as parents, regardless of what's going on in their, you know, whether their child is gay, straight, whatever, there's always going to be uncomfortable conversations to be had. And if we shy away from every one of them because we don't like it, then you're not going to be able to have that open and frank conversation, are you?
No. And then the child or the person's not going to feel as supported as they need to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's the other thing that we don't have all the answers.
No.
Yes, at the beginning, we probably have none of the answers, to be quite honest.
And maybe that's another thing, to be quite happy to say, I don't know, but let's find out together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely
it is.
Yeah. And as the Rainbow Project, I think that's an important thing for us because we're not going to have all the answers.
No.
And we're going to have to say to people, leave me your number, I'll get back to you as soon as.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, I know it sounds like I'm going off the subject, but I'm not. I know I ramble like this.
You do.
So God, 20 years ago, probably, when your mum was diagnosed as celiac, what was the first thing we actually did? Research.
Yeah.
Find out what it means, get as much information as we could. I could probably cook more celiac dishes than most chefs.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
that's another thing. I mean, obviously, you guys know I have had a diagnosis tonight. So I am going to have to go away and look at, right, what do I now need to be doing going forward? Because I haven't got a clue.
No, exactly.
Not a clue. And
that point.
Yeah, you know, and it's the same for this, isn't it? If you don't know, work it out together. Let's research this together. Let's go and find out.
Yeah, let's see.
You know?
Yeah, because it is important. It is.
And that's part of what we do, which is one of the elements of the Rainbow Project is we will do the research if we don't know.
Yes.
We will find the right person for you to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is not to make assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in our situation, Nicola, because there are so many variables going down the line.
Definitely.
That, you know, I mean, the big one for me was when Ben wanted surgery, and it was like, oh my Lord, all the risks, all the, you know.
Yeah. You sort of see all them things flash before your eyes. And
that
like...
was the worst thing for me is it was something I was fascinated in doing my degree, so I did quite a lot of research into it, and I've seen videos of the surgeries.
Well, see, I wasn't.
And now I've got that image in my head, and it's like, no, Ben.
Well,
you know,
I'm quite.
We can't make the assumption that he's going to want all of the surgery.
No.
And that's what I mean.
I think today the gender identity thing is so wide that people want so many different things. You can't assume these days. It's simply just transitioning from one gender to another.
Yeah,
I know when Helen first came out, Beth was very much like you. She went away and she researched everything, and I'm a little bit squeamish, so I looked at bits, but I didn't, and I know what happens, but I couldn't sit there and watch a video. Well, she did.
I'd watched it all before, and then like I said, when Ben came out, it was like, oh my God. But no, so don't make assumptions that that's going to happen, you know.
So we had longer sleepless nights than Ben did about the thing.
Yeah.
By quite a long way.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
when it came to operation day, I looked like a panda.
Yeah, I think one of the things I worry about as a mum is, am I doing things right? I am listening, and I am taking it at her pace. I do get a little bit frustrated that the pace isn't a little bit quicker, but that's because the pace isn't quick, is it? In anything like this?
It's not.
No.
But then I think to myself, have I forgot something? Have I forgot to do something? Have I forgot to ask something?
No.
But then she'll come downstairs and sit at the side of me and cuddle up, and I think, well, I can't have really, because if she was unhappy, she wouldn't come for a cuddle, because she would hide away in a room more than she does now.
I mean, the fact that Ben still travels down to see us and stuff makes me think we must be doing it half right, you know.
Yeah.
But and I do think, like I said, for any parent out there at the minute, just don't trust everything you read on Facebook and Twitter. And
I think one of the important things to remember is as well, we're not just talking here of parents of children.
No.
I mean, yes, I know there always are children, but people come out at different ages, and actually someday, just because their child is, say, in the 40s, the feelings are no different.
Oh God,
no.
You know, so
definitely
you know, for people,
I
think
go on.
I know. I was just saying to that point that Nick made about people coming out in the later years. Yes, people most definitely do come out in the later years, but we're seeing now a lot younger generation coming through.
Yeah.
It's perhaps the parents of young children that have probably got the most questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's quite a field that is very new to a lot of us. So it will be, let's go away and ask. Let's find out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Who do we talk to?
There is that thing, though. I agree with you.
Sometimes you hear stories, don't you, where some parents are afraid of the child because of being in dressing up box and put a dress on, for a little boy or something like that. But if it's just the once, then it means nothing. Just kids playing dress up like Rick does. If it's sustained and then happens more and more, then perhaps it might be something new. It doesn't mean it is. It just
Exactly, and that goes back to language. And I think, as a parent, if you've got a small child that is dressing up or playing with what you would consider to be the opposite gender-specific toys, don't make a big deal of it.
No, I never worried about it. The only time I really worried was when they were chasing the cat round to dress the cat up in tutus and things, because he really didn't like it. It wasn't his favourite pastime.
Yeah, but
who's really bothered about it, to be honest, is business. It's industry that's bothered about it, because if you go in a toy shop, nothing's changed in 40 years.
No. It really hasn't.
Oh, your takeaways arrived.
Enjoy, Pam.
Enjoy it, Pam, and thank you for contributing.
I think that going into a toy superstore kind of thing, and you see the pink aisles and the blue aisles and very gendered kind of thing, but actually you take away that and they're just toys.
Yeah. And that's the thing, they're just toys.
Yeah.
I mean, us growing up, there's only 16 months between myself, Helen, and my twin. So actually the toys were just toys. Action Man fell out at window just as much as Barbie fell out at window, and stuff. It made no difference.
And you stole my red car, so
I did steal your red car. It were a nice red car as well.
And that's the thing, isn't it? That once those toys go home, they become gender neutral.
Yeah, they do.
However, they're still in that shop, that it's almost as though there's a big electric fence down the middle of the building.
Yeah.
But
it's
like I said, that
conditioning based on sales.
Yeah.
The thing is, like I said,
it's social conditioning.
It is, and
it's purely based on cash.
But
as is a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching a program on Netflix called "The Toys That Made Us."
Right.
And we did an episode on Barbie and Cindy.
Yeah.
And watching it now, it was horrific.
Yeah, babe.
All the gender stereotypes of Secretary Cindy, and I was like, oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
I think that's the thing. Some toys feed into that social expectations of people, and
it does
of a bygone era. Of a bygone era, and we're not in that era anymore.
No. And I mean,
but it's marketing's job to keep you in that era.
But we've drifted from topic.
Well, we don't, because it still comes down to the same thing. It's still about how you support people, how you support your children, how you support older people, which is the same thing. You don't go down that gender stereotype. You stop all that rubbish and just get out of it.
You still see today that women, both women and men, are increasingly targeted with stereotypical advertising.
Yeah. I mean, on my blog, I did put a few days ago, I did put a thing out about because my youngest daughter has got quite long legs, you know, and she was under threat that actually, if her legs grew any more, I would be having to sew on the 3 inches, 3 foot that I took off her older sister's trousers to put on hers, because they're complete opposite ends of the spectrum, my two. So I'm hoping now at 21 she stopped growing, because she is a 33-inch leg.
Wow.
Yeah. So where do I get trousers of that length for her? You know, and then, you know, when I have had some really good responses on that, to be fair, lots of help.
Yeah.
But then I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to let her pick what she wants to wear, because actually that's how she's going to be comfortable, and it's none of my business really, so long as I don't shrink them in tumble dryer like I did last lot.
No, that would be a bad thing to do.
That is an interesting one, because if you go back to, actually not that far back, but men's tailoring for trousers works on a simple thing, that even when they were mass manufactured, they weren't finished.
Really?
So when they went to an outfitter's, they were still overly long and designed to turn up. And that's the same with jeans. Jeans were manufactured like that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I have to stop myself desire to go out and buy her everything pink. And I would never dream of doing that with my oldest daughter.
No.
Beth wouldn't stand for it. So why does my brain want to do it now?
Yeah.
I mean, I love pink personally. Sorry? Ash will wear pink, yeah. I don't think she'd care as long as they were comfy, to be honest. If they were joggy bottoms that were comfy, then she would wear them. That's, you know, it's got to be comfort.
Yeah,
you know.
But I mean, that again goes back to we watched Queer Eye with Jonathan Van Ness.
I love Jonathan Van Ness.
Oh no, and he just says they are clothes. It's cloth. Wear what you want. You know.
Yeah, well, that's what somebody said to me this morning. They are just clothes, and she wears whatever she wants depending on what she's looking for. It's either male or female. But she makes it her own. And I thought, you know, you've actually got a really good point there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but then socially speaking, you can see women it's far more accepted for a woman to wear what might be considered masculine clothes, as in shirts or trousers and stuff like that. But for a guy to actually put on a dress, it's not socially accepted.
No, I would agree on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I wear all sorts. The jeans I've got on at the minute are women's jeans, but you still get looks when you're out and about.
You just have to tuck a bit more.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, there just isn't as much room in certain places as there are in others.
Yeah, no pockets either.
And you just,
I don't get that. Why aren't the pockets? Everybody needs pockets. Everybody has hands to start.
It's so that we buy more handbags, and that's my theory. That's why I'm sticking to it. And that's why there's an handbag on my Amazon wish list at the minute.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Yeah, even though I did get one for Christmas, but
Suzanne,
it's not quite big enough. Day. It has been beautiful.
Suzanne signed. Yeah, it was so nice to sit on the decking at the caravan with the tree.
Do you know, outside my classroom window, there is a magnolia tree, and it's huge and it's beautiful when it's in flower. Yeah. But I've got magpies nesting in there at the minute as well that I've been watching.
Oh.
And it's right outside my classroom window. Buds are just beginning to open, aren't they? So another fortnight, I'm not going to be able to see this nest and these magpies.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Suzanne, I'm wearing earrings that my friend Pauline made for me.
Look after yourself, Ricky.
Yes. See you later, Ricky. Thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting.
Bye, Ricky.
Thank you. But yeah, I wear what I want. And but you still do get looks and comments.
I think that's the thing. People should be able to wear what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it when James comes to ours in skirt and.
It's been fabulous to watch him grow into himself.
Hasn't it just? Been wonderful.
It has been wonderful.
His journey over the past 18 months has been phenomenal.
Yeah. It's been quite a privilege actually to be able to support him along that journey.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things we are lucky for. Actually, we do get to support some absolutely fabulous people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. And his confidence is just going through the roof. It really is.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, the nails. Yeah, I'm having a trauma with nails at the minute.
Mine are still short. Look,
I've brought a load of my stuff from the van.
Oh, we're doing nails.
Yeah.
I think I need mine doing just to cheer myself up a little bit, just to give myself a bit of a boost.
We can sit in the garden and I can.
We can, can't we?
Yeah, and I can put you some on.
I think that's the thing. But just because of the job I've got, like below the elbows, I'm not allowed to wear nail polish or
our friend
like that.
Lisa Walker, who watches my feeds, she's got a van and it's literally across the back of ours.
Yeah.
And she's been over for a socially distanced cup of coffee sat on the deck.
It was funny, they were the first people second people we met on the site. Literally on the day we moved in.
Yeah. I bet there was lots of people there excited about being able to get into the vans just to check they're okay.
People, actually.
No,
was there not?
It was fairly empty. But
yes, we had to have a spare mattress, didn't we?
Was she mattresses or was she turntable?
Oh no, she turntable.
She was turntable and records.
When we cleared the old van out, we sort of took everything across. Stuff we didn't want to keep, and put a post on
the owners group
site. I was sort of free for collection. Come and get this stuff.
And Lisa turned up to get the turntable and the decks and a stereo.
And stereo.
Radio.
I think that's what we're going to have to do with our excess stuff,
Yeah, find a good home for it.
But
she was because we met some really good people.
But I was just going to say she works in care and she's back at work on Thursday because her doctor decided because of her diabetes she had to shield in February. She'd worked all the way through the last lockdown. And,
Okay.
Sorry, we appear to have missed you. You should be shielding. But she's been at work all this time and our boss said, because you've got the letter, you've got to go home.
Yeah, they've now got to do something about it.
So she's got nail polish on at the minute and she's just saying I'm going to have to take it off on Wednesday, ready for work on Thursday.
Yeah.
And she's going to cry, she says.
That was one of the other things I really wanted to be able to learn to do them, and I keep trying, don't I? But I'm just not quite getting it, so that I could do somebody else's for them, to maybe do Ash's nails for her or something.
But I can come and sit in your garden and we can talk through it now, or you can come to our garden and talk through it.
Yeah, could do. We'll have to arrange that.
Yeah, the only
one day when it's nice.
Gel polish doesn't like sunshine.
Does it not?
Because it's UV activated.
Yeah.
I top coated my nails and I thought, why is my brush lumpy? And I thought, oh, you silly sod. So, yeah, you've got to go inside to do your gel bit.
Oh, okay.
And leave the door open.
Yeah.
Through a window.
Yeah.
I'll set a fan up.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you should just be what you want to be and who you want to be. And why is everybody else so concerned about what you're doing?
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't got enough going on in your life to worry about without worrying about what other people are doing.
I have been asked of recent through people that know both my daughters. Oh, but you'll not be a grandma. I am already a grandma, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
When not be a grandma? What's that got to do with it? I said, Beth got me a beautiful grandchild. completely didn't have to put up with Beth pregnant because I think that would be a nightmare. Love her to bits, but
I have to say, I think that was a bit of a relief for me because, like you said, if Ben had gotten pregnant, I think it would have been a nightmare.
yeah.
Because if he got an ulcer in his mouth, he was dying, a dying swan for days and days. And it's like, oh, I can't. That's why we knew this was serious when he was prepared to go through all of that and have injections.
Yeah.
And
the moment any of that was mentioned, we're like, let's just get on with it then.
Yeah.
But I mean, as parents, you are not guaranteed grandchildren anyway, regardless, because it's not our decision.
No.
But from my perspective, it was never in my path to be a parent, full stop. Anything beyond that has been a bonus to me.
Yes.
So I sort of take it really seriously and think, make the most of the opportunities you get.
Exactly. And there's so many options now out there that nothing's off the table.
I keep thinking back to that book that's on Mesmac's table, Helen. The lesbian.
Oh, yes, Vermante.
Yeah, it's a book about how lesbians can get pregnant and all the different methods and stuff like that, with some very amusing diagrams in. We have spent 1 or 2 evenings chuckling. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I watched, it's on All 4, I think it is, documentaries about surrogacy.
Yeah.
And there were a gay couple who found this surrogate, and once a month they would religiously drive from their home down to Cornwall where this girl was. One chap would go and do what he needed to do in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And she'd come out with a syringe which she would stuff under her arm, and then she would disappear into the bedroom and spend the rest of the night with her legs over the headboard. And I was just like, that is dedication.
That is real dedication.
Because, I mean, she had 2 children of her own which were asleep in a bed, and I thought, I could not, I couldn't, no. No. Not with somebody else's kids on the other side of a wall and her waiting. No, I think I would get anxiety.
But there was an element to that show that I was really unhappy about. And it was still very, very stereotyping. You sort of look and think things have progressed a lot.
Oh, God, yeah. That was awful.
And they did it all the way through, because one of them was the natural parent. So when it came to birth and they were both there, the natural parent sort of shirt off, had the child with them. And you just think, we are going back 40 years again.
Yeah,
you've not moved forward one.
His husband was left stood in a corner.
Really?
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, give the surrogate a due. With this particular one, the midwife went to hand her the baby, and she pushed her hands over to the couple, but it was the biological dad that stripped his t-shirt off and grabbed the baby, and I thought, oh, bless him.
Well, yes, and I mean, it's very nice, but it's still absolutely stereotyping a couple again.
And there was a single chap on there who he was gay, who wanted to become a father, and some of the agencies turned him away because he was on his own.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the things for me. I mean, obviously Beth's 27, Ash's 21. 27, 28 years ago, there wasn't the opportunities there are now.
No.
Or it wasn't as widely known about. So I wanted children. That was my be-all and end-all at that point. So for me, it was to go down a route of meeting a man, you know, and having kids and stuff. Never very successful. I mean, obviously I had 2 children, but it would have been nice to have known that actually there were other options for me.
Yeah, you didn't have to put yourself through that.
Yeah, I didn't have to shoehorn myself into relationships that weren't right.
You're talking about it, it obviously wasn't what you wanted to do.
No.
But you felt you had to. And now there are so many more opportunities out there.
There are, and that's what I would say to parents as well. You know, obviously it's not our right to be grandparents, but don't grieve for it, because actually if they really want to be a parent, the opportunities for them to be parents are endless.
I mean, Ben did talk about harvesting some of his eggs and having them frozen, but it was just, I think it would have delayed things too long for him, and it was cost prohibitive.
Yes,
because it's a very expensive thing to go through.
The other thing we did is we had that chat about, but does it make any difference?
Does biology make a difference? And
not a bit.
What was really sweet?
Had this chat.
What was really sweet was he said, "Well, no, Michael, look, you're as much a parent to me as any of my other two parents.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a difference." And he said, "No, actually, it doesn't. But I think he felt a bit of pressure from the medical people he was involved with to explore that option."
Yeah.
And he said, "Actually, no, I will be happy if I want children, I can have them. It's not going to stop me."
And there's the other thing, isn't it? There's one of the things. I know we're sort of streaming down transgender thing again, but that's the same thing that's currently being used as a medical thing.
Yeah.
And that's unreasonable. Least of all because it's absolute rubbish. But it's that thing that what you are doing is you are stopping people having children.
Yes.
Mainly because they only talk ever about transgender women. Because they don't talk to transgender men because they can't possibly exist.
No. Well, they don't fit the argument, do they?
But when we do, we talk about it in a way that says, you are stopping this person having children. You are, what's the type of words that get used? Amputating, all that type of thing.
Yeah. But you know something, when I first came into the Rainbow Project and first started doing the groups with Helen, actually most other trans people I knew were trans men. Because I met the T-Boys and Toby and everybody and Jamie and all those. So actually I knew a huge group of trans men.
Yeah.
So that argument to me, it felt quite alien that people don't recognise that they're there.
Yeah. Well, the first few people I met were trans men. Because we had a talk at the civil service when gender recognition certificates were coming out.
Right.
Because I was involved in processing, we had to have explained to us what we had to do and how confidential it had to be, that you couldn't log it anywhere, and stuff like this. But it was a trans man that came in, and he actually said he had to go for an appointment at the hospital, and they came out and used his old name.
Oh.
And he was sat there mortified because he had to stand up, and he said you could see people thinking, well, where's his wife?
I know we've had a little bit of a obviously with Ash coming out, and they wanted to use she tried to change a bank and it wouldn't do. But actually now, I mean, it must have been on their radar to change with how quick they've acted. Yeah. But actually within a month their policy's now changed, and she can use the documentation she's got to change her name on the bank account.
Yeah.
Which is as it should have been.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I hadn't got Helen and Mel, because obviously our other sister Mel knows what policies should be in place. If I hadn't got them two to turn to, if we didn't know that, then we'd have been a little bit stuck. And it was through Helen and Mel going in and saying, hang on a minute, this has got to change. That it did change. But actually, how do other parents find out about this information? How do other parents find out, well, actually, what they're telling you is wrong?
Yeah.
And that's the lived experience thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? If somebody came to us in that position, we could now say, well, no, that's wrong. You can go with your certificate and your deed poll, and that's enough, you know?
Well, the other thing we'd do is we would go with them and say, get this sorted.
Yeah.
That's what she did.
Yeah.
It's like
basically,
done.
Yeah.
Marching branch.
I did that, God, before you. So it's over 30 years ago with our friend Marcia, who came over from New Zealand, and British Airways had bumped her off a flight going back. And then back then tried to charge her about 800 quid more to get on another flight.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, there was an American Express in Sheffield. And I was working at the bottom of the moor. The American Express was on the moor as well.
Yeah.
So Marcia came in Sheffield. I went and sat in there with her. I've only been early 20s at the time. And I was looking somewhere long enough to go soon. This woman started being a bit of a pain. And I said, hang on a minute. I just rang my boss and said, I need to take the afternoon off now because I'm going to sit in the American Express until they resolve this. They sorted it out there and then.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you just have to do that.
Sometimes you do. You really do.
And it's just understanding the systems.
And I mean, and I think that's where now we've got a base and now we're registered as a charity, we've got to start pushing out there and saying to people, here if you need it.
Yeah. I think one of the things as well, it'd be nice to know from other parents out there is, well, what do they want to know? What you know, is what questions do they want answering?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And start collecting a bank of that information that actually we do have a bit of a go-to.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I know them questions will evolve over time, won't they?
Yeah, of course they will.
They do.
As legislation's changed and things, then Oh, hang on, that looks like I need to read through. You have get trouble with financial was asking for ID because of voice and gender mismatch. Yeah,
and that would happen with voice recognition.
Yeah. I'm not trans and I get called Miss quite often on the phone. But and I have, when I first started working at Comet, I was in the repair centre, so we were inbound calls.
Yeah.
And I did it a couple of times and had to stop myself, and I thought, I've got to stop this. So I used as many gender neutral until the person said one way or the other, then I knew what to do. But now I don't think I would do it. I think I would always go gender neutral first and not assume gender just based on voice.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you talk to people, you've almost got to give them the answers before they even ask it. So again, say it slowly, so it takes some time for them to sink in. Sometimes what I find when talking to people, because I've got a deep voice and I do get misgendered on the phone quite a lot. So it's talking to people who are saying, you know, it's Helen, and sometimes I'll even spell it out.
That's the thing with voice recognition, though, isn't it, as well? Because actually, across the spectrum, men and women, whether they're cisgender, transgender, or whatever, there is a spectrum of depth of voice. And actually, some men have very naturally very high-pitched voices, and some women naturally have very low-pitched voices, very deep voices, and that's just nature. So actually,
it can be a problem, and like Nicola's just shared, it can cause an issue when you're going in to try and change ID
Yes.
and things, because they just don't.
Particularly as well when you're very early on in any sort of transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that, I mean, obviously we've all got parents or had parents, and is there anything that we think that it would be nice to have been asked, or something that had been done? Even though, I mean, our parents were quite supportive. We are children of the time that we were brought up in.
Yeah, we are, and there's nothing we can do about that.
No.
But I think, I mean, my mum and dad, it took them a little while to wrap their head around everything, but absolutely marvellous. That they've been wonderful.
It did take a little while, yeah.
It did take a little while, but that is as much on me as it was on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, not in terms of my parents, but I don't know. I think sometimes other people are a bit more, other people in my life, like when I was working, work colleagues and things, ask you things and you think, what, like we were just talking about before we went live, why would you think that's an appropriate question to ask anybody?
Yeah.
You know, and it, for me, it's about respecting boundaries. People just make assumptions that almost your feelings are irrelevant, and it's fine to ask certain questions about relationships. Well, how does that work then? You know.
Well, the thing is, it also gets phrased in such a way that it makes it sound as though they're just being curious. It's like, no, you're just being bloody rude. There is a difference.
Yeah, I think when I first had my op, you know, I got to ask, you know, yeah, have you tried it out yet? Do you want to try it out, kind of thing? It's like,
Oh, God, yeah.
No, not with you.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But,
it's like when you get the people who sort of say, well, what's wrong with me? And I just look and say, would you like a list?
Yeah.
oh,
You are right, though. It is the wider community, isn't it? Sometimes, rather than our parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think sometimes people just need to accept that, just step back and think, would you ask a straight couple those questions? You know, and if you wouldn't, then why would you think it's all right? Evelyn, my son told me, he said, even if it's not sexual. Yeah. So yeah, it's the wider community, but I do think there's something to have a discussion with people. Like I said, I was looking for terminology, and support network group is a better way to phrase it, but it's about empowering them to have discussions.
Yes.
Because there might be things they want to ask, but are not quite sure how to broach the subject.
And that's one of the things one of my colleagues has said to me, is that actually, because I am very open, and I will talk to them about the journey of how I've got to myself to where I am now. And I will answer the questions and stuff. I mean, I was asked about, well, don't I want that person that knows me inside and out? And my response is, yeah, but I've got that. I've got that because I've got my twin, I've got my sisters, I've got my kids. They know me inside and out.
Yeah.
I just don't want the sexual contact. you know, and I've got friends, I've got a huge group of friends and people that I absolutely adore. So I've got all the companionship and everything else I need from there. I just don't want that person in my life. I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
And so when I sort of explained it like that, it's not that I don't like people, because I love people. I don't like people in my space.
Yeah.
Do you know?
That is a weird question, Sean. What does it feel like being gay?
Sean, I always have a standard answer to that one, which goes down the line of, what does it feel like not to be?
Yeah. But
when did you come out as straight?
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you, being straight's bloody hard work.
When did you
tried it for long enough?
When did you know you were gay? Well, when did you know you weren't?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, the other one you can know on that one is, how do you know you're not?
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Do you know what? A few years ago, when we first started Rainbow Project, and we were doing some one-to-ones at this point, and I had a one-to-one with a lady, just some support and things, and she'd recently come out as lesbian, and it was a complete shock to her because she'd been married, she'd had a couple of marriages, she'd never once thought that actually things might be different for her, and then she met her partner at that time, and she realised actually that that felt so different and so right.
Yeah.
And it was a shock.
Yeah.
And I think for me that was my turning point.
Yeah,
Go on,
I think
Ellen.
it's one of them questions that gets thrown at lesbians quite frequently is, how do you know you're a lesbian? Is it just because you've not had the right man or something like that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's one that I have heard actually.
Yeah.
That all you need is a good.
Yeah. And as somebody who was
really not
tried to put herself in the position, it don't work. It doesn't work. I've been very unsuccessful at relationships and made myself very unhappy, and that's something I don't want for my kids. So I'm much happier that they're open and honest with with themselves now.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go through what I went through.
Yeah, I think it's quite shocking, the thoughts of some people that are out there, what they think about LGBT communities.
Yeah.
Quite shocking, really.
It is. And it's, I wish I could say it's getting better, Helen, but I don't think sometimes it is.
And this brings us
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know. I think in some places it is, and in some places it's not.
True.
I think a lot of the younger generation. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
And this is my point when we started about the idea of education resolves these things. It resolves some of it. All it really does is it gives people the information, and then they carry on being bigoted ourselves. Why? They have that information, they understand this stuff, but they just carry on being their stupid selves.
Yeah.
And you can't change a person. That's the thing about it.
Well,
no, you can't change a person.
That's why Michael has a problem with the word tolerant.
I do not like the word tolerant.
Because it's
I would agree with him on that.
We've got to put up with you.
Yeah.
We don't like you, but we've got to put up with you.
Tolerant always has the word "but" after it.
Yes.
They just don't say it.
It's that I'm not homophobic, but I'm not racist, but
yeah.
And I just think whether that but is said or implied, it hangs there like a brick, doesn't it? And you think
it does.
Yeah.
It's like that. I've got a friend that's trans, that's gay, that's lesbian, that's whatever, but
yeah.
Well, when people say name some Jews famous for being tolerant, I always go Neville Chamberlain.
Yeah.
It's like, let's learn from history if we don't mind.
You see, Evelyn, I think you're right, and I think because of my spiritual side as well, I just find it mind-boggling that people can't just get along with people, no matter what. I mean, Helen, Nick, I love you both to bits, but I'm not interested what you do in your bedrooms and with whom.
Exactly.
Spoke quite loudly, according to my kids.
That's what they.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not interested at all. Yeah, and you know, I have met over the years. I've met some absolutely fabulous people. You know, absolutely wonderful people, and that's important. And actually, why can people not feel like that? Just take people as who they are, and you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I did like what Claire said the other day, that when we were sat around in Wath Hall, and she said, but my aim is in X number of years that we don't need to exist as a project, because we'll just be a social group, because there isn't any problems out there anymore. Yeah, that's a nice dream, but
it is a nice dream, but I'm not convinced that's going to happen.
No,
I'd love it. I'd love it to be right. I'd love to come in 30 years' time and say, "You're right, Claire."
I can't see that happening in my lifetime.
No, I can't, Helen, unfortunately, and you're a lot younger than me.
It's not good.
Not that much, Tony. We've got a little birthday this year.
It's a big birthday, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's only little. No, it's only little. It's only little.
21 with 29 years experience.
Should have you. I'm only 5.
That is nothing.
It's 5. 0. Zero's nothing. So that just leaves 5. So I'm 5.
It's just 5. Yeah. But I think we've talked ourselves back round to the beginning again. But it is about just respecting a person.
Yes.
And if they've confided in you, that's absolutely wonderful. And just say, what do you need from me? What do you need? What do you want?
But be prepared to listen to what they're telling you.
Yeah, and really listen to what they're telling you. Hear them.
Yeah.
Because
often people listen, but they don't hear.
Yeah. We did a task, and I think at uni last time I think she called it responsive listening. So we had to listen very carefully to what somebody was telling us, and then go back to them with a question that repeats what they've just said.
Yes. Yeah. You do that in counselling.
Yeah. And it was very, very hard.
It is.
You know, because even though, you know, I've been obviously backwards and forwards to uni for years, and I'm quite a well-educated person, I thought I listened quite well. No. That task, I found that very hard. So it's definitely something to practice.
It is. Yeah. It is difficult. And it's something that, and the other thing that's really hard to do that you do in counselling is don't immediately feel like you've got to speak. When somebody's talked to you, don't immediately speak. Process what they've said, then go back.
Yeah. One of the best ones I learned was active listening, which I think was the same thing.
It is,
probably is.
Yeah. Active listening. I think, you know, allow being comfortable with silence, because some people aren't comfortable with silence and feel the need to jump in and fill that space. But actually, you know, just allowing that silence to be what it is.
Yeah, one of the things I do with some of the learners at work as well, when we're doing communication skills, I'll read them a story about Goldilocks, but it's got key elements missed out purposely. So we don't say that she's a girl. We don't say that there's 3 bears in her house, and there's things like, you know, the key things that you know from that story are completely omitted. So then when you're going through and asking the questions, they're actually answering on their prior knowledge. So they're not answering on what they've listened to. They're answering on actually what knowledge they already know.
About that story,
About that story. And it's quite interesting because some of them get, well, I did think that, but I know Goldilocks. I said, yeah, but I asked you to listen to what we're saying. And so it's a really good exercise.
It is.
I like the one where you sit people back to back so you don't get any visual cues, and you get one person to talk for 4 minutes. The other person cannot speak during that time, and at the end of that, they're allowed to ask 2 follow-up questions and no more than that. Then they've got to finish the whole thing.
Oh, do you know I might be pinching that one, Michael?
And the one that people find really hard is the silence.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And in the situations we're talking about, I think it's very important to stay silent until they've told you everything they want to tell you.
Yeah.
Don't jump in.
Yeah, because actually if you jump in too soon, you could cut off what they're wanting to say, so they might not feel able to tell you everything.
Yeah, exactly. You close.
Don't project. Don't project your expectations on.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Because I've come back to you guys before, haven't I, and said, "Oh my God, I've done this or I've done that," and I do project my expectations, and it's only when I've gone back and thought about it and thought, "Oh no, you're wrong there, Nick. You shouldn't have done that." You know.
90% of the time, the best response is to say and do nothing.
Well, you said it in the car coming home.
I was on a call with a charity. I mentor for a few different charities, and one of them, we had this lovely woman who was saying, well, you gave me this person, and they were looking at their business this way. So I told them they were all wrong about it, and I told them how to run it. Apart from the fact that I obviously looked appalled at this woman. It was very much this thing about, so you didn't listen to a damn thing they said. You just told them what to do.
And sometimes doing nothing is an option.
Yeah, and there was another one who said, why don't you just tell everybody the first thing they need to do is set up as a limited company? I was like, because it's the easiest thing to do. But a lot of these people you are talking about are going to go on to be not-for-profits.
Yeah.
You're going to want to convert to a charity eventually. And the moment you set up as a limited company, you've closed off all their funding.
Yeah.
And the reason why
one of the things when we were first looking at setting up as a community interest arm is actually... At that stage, I don't think the people that were advising us knew how to do that. So we didn't really get the right advice, did we, Ellen, at that point? But it's not that the intentions were not there. It's that actually they just didn't know themselves.
Because people have been a new thing at the time.
No, they didn't.
But
they do still follow us and they do still comment.
At that time, it was a new thing.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
But we're here now. We're set up. We're ready to go.
And it's that thing about any new thing, the first thing you do is research it.
Yeah.
Find out what's out there.
Yeah.
Find out. Ask. You know, you'll be amazed at who knows who and who, you know, who's been in a similar situation and things.
Yeah.
Well, we had this conversation with your mum yesterday before about a family issue where somebody was about to pass, and it was very much, should we go and see them? Would they think it was right? And it's like, well, there's a dead simple way of resolving it. Ask.
Yeah.
So what she wants you to do, unfortunately, she didn't get the chance because Pat passed yesterday. But ask the question, what is it? Again, it goes back to what we said. What do you need me to do?
Yeah.
You're in this situation. What do you need me to do to make you comfortable and to make you and to help you along your journey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't assume what you should do.
No. So to sort of round it off, if anybody has any further questions, or there's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask, but ask appropriately.
Yeah. No, But going back to what Tony's just saying, sorry, is that actually there may be questions that people have not put to us yet. But please do. I mean, you can private message us if you don't want to do it on a public forum, and we will get back to you. And if we don't know ourselves, then we will find somebody that does know.
Yeah. We'll find some.
And I think going forward as well, it might be nice to know what people do want, because it may be that if we get enough of a bank of questions that are regularly asked, that we can put something together that, you know.
Yeah. We can do a live about it, and then it's there for people to watch back as and when. And don't ever feel you're on your own. Like I always say on my other live feeds.
Yes.
If you are struggling with a situation, just message.
Yeah.
And
definitely
we'll get back to you. Even if it's not a question, even if it's just to, like Nick did, rang us and said, "Oh my God, I did this. Was it right? Is it normal?" And I was like, "Yeah, how did it?"
Yeah. And actually having just that other person to say, "Nick, you're okay. It's going to be okay." It was enough, you know, to set me back on the, you know, your feelings are valid. The feelings are normal.
They are your feelings, therefore they are valid. So,
exactly.
you know, but like I said, we're always here, and we will continue to do these feeds, and as long as you want us to.
Definitely. I think they're definitely very useful.
They are, and I know some of the people that have watched us are local, but some aren't. And it's nice that we have got that little bit of reach out to, I mean, Evelyn's in America. So, you know, so it's not a little bit of reach, it's quite a lot of reach. And it is valid and it is important. And the only way for us now is up.
Definitely.
There's there somewhere from the 80s.
I'm sure there's a song in that.
Yeah, there is. I know it's there somewhere. But it's been another great night.
Thank you, Evelyn.
It has.
A really interesting conversation.
Evelyn.
And keep watching out on our page for different things we're doing. We've got a Saturday social this week. Is that right?
We have got Saturday social Saturday. I haven't put the dates out yet because they may be subject to change dependent on what happens at Wath.
Yes.
So I will put the dates out tomorrow. I think I'm going to do them ready for the. But a note on that.
That's nice.
Oh.
I'll send him over.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll put the dates out then, and then obviously if we need to adjust, we can do.
Yeah.
It is lovely.
And if anybody wants the link to the Saturday social, it's just to grab a cup of coffee and a chat about any rubbish that crops up.
Yep.
Send us a message and we'll send it privately to you, because we don't like to put it on a public forum.
No.
But we can stay at Evelyn's apparently. Fabulous.
Are you somewhere warm though, Evelyn? That's the thing, because I want a bit of heat.
I believe so. I believe we're
Really?
southern. I might be wrong, but I believe you. You'll take me. Thanks, Evelyn.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been wonderful. Thank you again.
Fabulous.
Hope to see some of you on Saturday.
Yes.
And if there's any topic you want us to cover on a feed, just message us and we'll cover it if we can. And if it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
If not, I mean, there may be topics that are not really appropriate for a public forum like this, but it could be done privately.
Of course it can.
Exactly.
Of course it can. If there's a group of people who want a certain topic covered, we can do that on a Zoom, so it's closed and it's appropriate. Yeah, definitely. But thank you, everybody. Have a fabulous rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
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 Bye.